Hello and welcome back to another video on the Retexcraft channel. And in today's video, we're taking a look at characters in the Skylanders Giants beta. And joining me is Skylander Gamer TV.
Hello guys, I'm Skylander Gamer TV, and I am really excited to look at some beta designs of Skylanders, and let's get right into it. These are some very interesting characters we're looking at today.
Anyway, first is Chop Daddy. I am playing through Giants with him, even though he has no moves. It's just so cool that he is playable in Giants. He can throw rocks really far, and he has sword can't work. He doesn't have a sword, but it's still cool, and I do prefer his design in Giants than I do in the in Trap Team. It's just slightly different, and I prefer it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it was long speculated that the original Undead Giant was going to be Crypt King, and as we can see here, it is. It's kind of interesting, though, that he doesn't have a sword with him. I think that's very interesting. Probably just an early production shot of him, though, because we do see his 3D model does have a sword, so that's kind of weird, but his animations are pretty stiff looking. But at the end of the day, you can still tell that this was the original Crypt King design, and I'm very glad we got to see him later in Trap Team.
Rhino. Rhino is a Alpha T-Rex. He's really buggy dash. If you dash onto a wall, it can just move your character up, which I discovered, if you're wondering. His cannon move is really hard to use, but it's still functional, and his smash is definitely T-Rex's original. Also, he would have looked so cool having a Goliath Drow as a character. He is better than Chop Daddy, though.
I do agree that at this stage, this Alpha T-Rex is probably better than Chop Daddy. He just probably moves more, even though he is really buggy. You can definitely tell this was just a prototype of T-Rex, trying to just figure out his moveset on this character that they already had, which was Brock. Kind of weird. And I think it's very interesting, though, to see that Brock was the alpha version of T-Rex. Maybe he was originally going to be T-Rex, and then they changed him. Who knows, but I think it's very interesting.
Test Titan Trollmack. He is a good first attack, but the other one crashed the game. His figure would have looked amazing since he is a troll and a Trollmack. So it would have looked really cool to have those. But it's still pretty cool seeing scrapped Skylanders.
I would have loved to play as the Trollmack. I always thought they were really cool, and we kind of get it with Smokescream, but it's really not the same thing. I always wanted to play as him, and it's cool he actually get to move around and stuff, and then he has his first attack. That's really cool, and I have no idea why his other attacks crashed the game. That's very unfortunate. I think it would have been so cool to actually see him as a real Skylander. Maybe he was an original version of the Tech Giant, because there's a lot of original Tech Giants, apparently. I really think this would have been a cool Skander to have.
Guardian is not good. It immediately crashes the game when you load him. And that's really all.
I mean, I agree. What is there to say about Guardian? He just completely crashes the game. There's nothing really to it.
Next, Takanasaur. Again, crashes the game upon loading, but was most likely going to be Chopper from Trap Team. He was supposed to be a giant, but like Skylander Gamer TV will say, his base would have been too wide since yeah. And if it would not crash, it would be so cool if we could see if our theories were right.
I mean, yeah, this is true. The original Tech Giant was actually going to be Chopper. Well, a bigger version of him, but as T-Rexes are more wide than tall. They had to scrap him because the base would just be too big for the portal. So this probably was going to be just a big T-Rex. That would have been so cool to see in the actual Giants. But sadly, it just crashes the game. So we'll never know what that beta T-Rex in the game looks like. It would have been so cool to see, though.
So, Sandwich is her name, and you heard me right. It is Sandwich. Her name is Sandwich. She moves really slow, and if you use any of her attacks, it crashes the game. She does appear to have Hex's model, so yeah, that's cool. But yeah, nothing good. If you use her move, something funny happens. Right, that's all I can say.
Skylanders of the water element are stronger in this zone.
I mean, yeah, this is just a Skander. They probably had an idea what they wanted to do and used an old Skander to kind of use the attacks. But as you can see, it crashes the game, so it's not that much to talk about.
Sniper. A Skylander that made it, the file made it into the final game. It's still playable there. It's not playable, it's not an actual figure, but it's still playable if you hack the game. And it is the best here. He has 3 moves that all work perfectly good. And the figure, I think, would have been cool because we would have had to play, we could have played as the enemies before Trap Team, and that would have been so cool.
I think it's cool that this one is 100% playable. A sniper Skander is very interesting. There's a couple sniper enemies scattered throughout Skander, so I think it would have been cool to have an enemy, or a Skander, I mean, where you actually hide and stuff and get to sneak up on your enemies. That would have been a very cool Skander design, but sadly, it's not in the game. Well, thank you for having me on your channel. This was a great video, I think. I mean, I love looking at prototype design Skanders. That's actually my most viewed video on my channel. So thank you, RedXCraft, for having me on the channel. And subscribe, guys, to RedXCraft. And I'll see you guys later.
Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and go and check out Skylander Gamer TV's channel. Goodbye.